Imagine waking up and finding your city's main 10-lane highway has just vanished into a sinkhole.
Yeah, that's a pretty terrifying thought.
Right. And to keep the economy from completely freezing, you have to instantly carve this unpaved bypass through the jungle. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are cracking open a policy and market intelligence report from India dated June 4, 2026.
And it shows them doing exactly that. Except, the highway is global oil, and the bypass requires rewiring their entire economy.
Exactly. And it is happening during some intense domestic political friction, right?
Oh, absolutely. The report mentions some heavy stuff like the DMK boycotting a major alliance meeting and 58 TMC members suddenly defecting in West Bengal.
Which is a huge deal. And I just want to pause here and make it totally clear to you, the listener, that we are not endorsing any political viewpoints or taking sides on any of this.
Right. No sides here.
We're just impartially reporting the facts and ideas as they are laid out in the source material because that domestic pressure really compounds the external shocks.
It really does. And the biggest external shock is definitely the energy pivot.
Yeah, the ongoing West Asia war. It effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz.
Which is massive because that cuts off nearly half of India's traditional oil import routes almost overnight.
So there's your collapsed highway and their jungle bypass. Prime Minister Modi holds talks with Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez.
Yeah, and in a flash, Venezuela is suddenly India's third largest crude supplier.
But wait, Venezuela's under some pretty complex U.S. sanctions, right? So how does a massive private entity like Reliance Industries buy this incredibly dense Venezuelan crude?
Well, that's where it gets complicated. They can't just wire U.S. dollars.
Right.
So they have to step outside the traditional dollar system entirely. We're talking intense financial acrobatics just to keep the lights on.
Wow. Like what kind of acrobatics?
Using intermediary banks in third-party countries, trading in alternative currencies like the rupee or the dirham, or setting up these really complex clearing mechanisms.
That is wild. But I guess when your external supply chains are that chaotic, you really desperately need an accurate picture of your own domestic reality.
Which is why we're seeing this huge shift in the report. India is basically throwing out its old economic yardstick.
Yeah, the wholesale price index, the WPI, and they are replacing it with a producer price index, or PPI.
Right, because the old index had a fatal flaw. It was double counting intermediate goods. Like, if a manufacturer bought raw steel, the WPI counted that price.
Okay.
But then when they turned that steel into a car and sold it, the index essentially counted the value of that steel all over again.
Ah, I see. So the PPI fixes that distortion by only measuring prices as goods leave the actual producer.
Exactly. Plus, and this is huge, the PPI finally includes the services sector.
Which is crazy because services make up, 55% of India's GDP? How was that just left out before?
It's a massive blind spot that they're finally fixing.
But hold on, let's unpack this timeline. They say they are going to run both of these indices simultaneously for 5 years to protect existing business contracts.
Yeah, a 5-year overlap.
But doesn't that just create 5 years of completely confusing, conflicting data for you to navigate as an investor?
Well, sure, but it's a calculated risk, Tearing up thousands of long-term legal and infrastructure contracts overnight.
It would just cause absolute chaos.
Exactly. They're choosing a messy data transition over a sudden market crash. But your point about clarity is spot on. I mean, while they are fixing these macro-level data problems, they still have some shocking blind spots at the micro level.
Oh, you were talking about the corporate governance stuff, the Rajesh exports situation.
Yeah. SEBI, the market regulator there, just flagged an alleged 15 lakh crore rupee revenue misrepresentation at the company.
Let me just translate that scale for our global listeners. That is roughly $180 billion of phantom revenue.
It is staggering.
What blows my mind isn't even the size of the fraud, it's who fell for it. Like, private mutual funds completely avoided this stock for a whole decade.
They saw the red flags.
Right. But the Life Insurance Corporation, which is state-backed and handles massive amounts of public capital, they held a 10.8% stake. How does institutional oversight miss a $180 billion red flag that private funds spotted a mile away?
It really exposes a serious lag in financial governance. And honestly, it's exactly why India is pivoting so aggressively right now to establish strict new rules for technology and law.
Before those sectors scale totally out of control.
Exactly. Like the Supreme Court of India just released these draft AI regulations.
Yeah, and they drew a hard line, an explicit ban on algorithmic legal verdicts. They are making human judgment legally mandatory.
They're locking down human accountability in the justice system. And at the exact same time, they're locking down their data sovereignty from the sky.
You mean Mission Drishti?
Yeah, launching the Optisar satellite with GalaxEye.
Okay, Optisar sounds like total sci-fi. How does that actually secure their data sovereignty?
So traditional optical satellites basically go blind if it's cloudy or if it's nighttime. But Optisar combines optical sensors with synthetic aperture radar.
Oh, so it bounces microwave signals off the Earth.
You got it. It lets them see right through thick cloud cover and total darkness.
Yeah.
So India doesn't have to rely on foreign satellites for critical imaging anymore.
Wow. And they are building the brain trust to match all of this, right? The PM Research Chair Scheme 2026 is actively luring top-tier Indian-origin researchers out of global labs.
Bring them back home, yeah. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it is a profound shift. They aren't just importing foreign tech anymore.
Right, they're importing the talent to build domestic intellectual property.
While simultaneously setting really strict ethical boundaries on how that tech is used in society.
So why does all this matter to you? Well, whether you are trying to navigate a collapsed supply chain or figure out AI integration in your own industry, rapid structural adaptability is literally the only way to survive.
Temporary fixes just fail when global shocks hit. You have to rewire the system itself.
Totally. Let's leave you with this final thought to mull over. The Supreme Court banned AI legal verdicts today to protect human judgment. But as digital data complexity multiplies exponentially, how long until human judges have no choice but to rely on the exact algorithms they just outlawed?